From Washington, this is VOA News. Hello, I'm Steve Miller. U.S. President Donald Trump continued criticizing Attorney Jeff Sessions while speaking at a news conference on Tuesday, saying he wanted to get him to be tougher on leaks to the media. U.S. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer spoke out against President Trump's criticism on the Senate floor.
Many Americans must be wondering if the president is trying to pry open the office of Attorney General to appoint someone during the August recess who will fire Special Counsel Mueller and shut down the Russian investigation.
Schumer said Democrats would not go along with that plan. Jared Kushner, U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, faced questions for 3 hours in a closed-door interview with the House Intelligence Committee as part of its investigation of Russian meddling in last year's presidential election. But he wasn't the only person on Capitol Hill answering questions. VOA's Robert Rafael.
As part of the Russia probe, Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, met Tuesday with bipartisan staff of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Manafort answered their questions fully, according to his spokesman. Manafort is being scrutinized about his participation in a June 2016 meeting at Trump Tower with a Russian lawyer from whom the president's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., had been advised to expect incriminating material about Clinton. Robert Rafael, VOA News.
The Brazilian Attorney General's office has tripled its 2018 budget for a probe a sprawling corruption scandal that has engulfed political and business leaders across Latin America. Federal prosecutors plan to boost spending from $165 million initially allotted in January to more than $500 million. This is VOA News. The U.S. Senate Tuesday approved a motion to open debate on a Republican initiative to overhaul the health care system with a 51-50 vote, with Vice President Mike Pence breaking the tie. Arizona Republican Senator John McCain said the lack of a clear alternative has made the Affordable Care Act even more popular, but said more was needed to be done. Democratic Illinois Senator Dick Durbin said McCain set the right framework for discussions.
But what John McCain did in his speech afterwards was really set the stage for this debate on reconciliation. He made it clear, as Senator McConnell sat there and listened, that the approach the Republicans have used to reach this moment is unacceptable. It's unacceptable when you consider the history of the Senate and the good of the country, and McCain said it so effectively.
President Donald Trump said the Affordable Care Act was a government takeover of the health care system and was also a big, fat, ugly lie that wreaked havoc on American families. The U.S. House of Representatives approved a new sanctions against Russia on Tuesday for its meddling in last year's presidential election. California Republican Congressman Ed Royce said the House bill was similar to the Senate's, but outlined a difference.
We clarified several provisions that could have inadvertently handed Russian companies control of global energy projects and impacted pipelines that our European allies rely on in an effort to end their dependence on Russian gas. So this strengthens the bill.
Roy said Russia poses a threat to NATO allies in Europe as Moscow works to undermine democratic values with determination and sophistication. Venezuelan Attorney General Luisa Ortega Diaz condemned what she called a violation of the Constitution after two more magistrates were arrested on Tuesday by the country's intelligence agency.
For how long will the country continue to tolerate the atrocious violation of the Constitution, of this Constitution, of our Constitution.
The magistrates are among 33 judges the National Assembly appointed on Friday to replace the current Supreme Court. Both sides in the Libyan conflict agreed to the terms of a ceasefire agreement on Tuesday during talks mediated by French President Emmanuel Macron. Along with the conditional ceasefire, the document commits both sides to holding an election as soon as possible. The two sides previously held talks in Abu Dhabi in May after going more than a year and a half without speaking. From Washington, I'm Steve Miller.
That's the latest world news from VOA.